guys, it's Mrs. Wood. I'm back for day 3 of reading. Can you believe we've already made it to Friday of the first week? It's hard to believe it's going so fast, but we miss you guys so much. So today we're going to pick up right where we left off about talking about making connections. So we've learned that connections are how we connect things, just like the Legos. When we put them together, we put them in our brain with what we already know. That's our schema. And we put it with what we're reading. We can start to make understanding of what we're reading. So we've learned a couple things that we can say as we're reading that help us to make that connection. So that reminds me of, I remember when, or that's the same as. Now in your packet today, it does say that you're supposed to complete a making connection sheet with me. If you have one that you haven't done from a previous day, you can go ahead and get that out. But we did accidentally forget to put it in your packet. So you can turn to the blank back and just draw a picture of the connections we're going to make, or you can just follow along today. So today is going to be a little bit different as we do our read aloud because I don't have an actual copy of this book. So my picture is going to shrink down in a second, and you're going to see the book pop up on your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and switch so that you can see the book as I'm reading it today. So the book that we're going to be reading today is called Koalaloo, and it was written by Mem Fox and illustrated by Pamela Lofts. Now, this book is going to help us understand a little bit more about the character Koalaloo, because Koalaloo is the main character in this story. And when I'm reading, I want to make sure that I understand how she feels, what she's thinking, where she's going, what she's doing. Because if I understand how she feels and what she thinks, I can understand her better as a person. So as I read the book, I'm going to be stopping in some places to show you what my connections are so I can know how Koalaloo feels. So again, this book is called Koalaloo. There was once a baby koala, so soft, round, that all who saw her loved her. Her name was Koalaloo. The emu loved her, the platypus loved her, and even tough little Koala Claus next door loved her. Look at all of those animals who love Koalaloo. But it was her mother who loved her most of all. 100 times a day, she would laugh and shake her head and say, Koalaloo, I do love you. Hey, this reminds me of how I feel when my mom tells me she loves me. It feels so good. I feel so warm inside. And I know that when I'm around my mom, I feel safe. I feel like I'm going to be protected. And I bet that's how Koalaloo feels. If you look in the picture, you can see her mom holding her up, how much her mom loves her. And then she's sitting on top of her mom's head. She feels safe and warm. Do any of you, can you make that connection when your mom or dad or someone who loves you tells you they love you? Think about how that makes you feel. So that's going to help you remember when, and it's the same as Koalaloo is feeling. Let's keep reading. Whenever she stretched in the early morning sun, or climbed a gum tree, or bravely went down the path all by herself, her mother would smile and say, Koalaloo, I do love you. The years passed and other koalas were born, brothers and sisters for Koalaloo. Soon her mom was so busy, she didn't have time to tell Koalaloo that she loved her. Although, of course, she did. This makes me think of when I became a big sister. My little sister Katie was adopted, and when she came around, there were a lot of things that changed. I had been the baby for 12 years, and now I had a little sister who we had to take care of. We had to make sure she was getting food, and we had to go buy her new clothes, and we had to make sure she had a bedroom and all the things she needed. And I felt a little bit like my mom wasn't saying she loved me as much, and my dad wasn't playing with me as much as he had. And that made me feel really sad. So I bet that's how Koala Lou is feeling. Have any of you ever had a baby brother or sister born? Or maybe another cousin or someone came to stay with you and you felt like you weren't getting as much attention? Yeah. Think about how you felt. That's how Koala Lou is feeling here. Every night, as she curled up under the stars, Koala Lou thought about the times when her mother had looked at her and said, Koala Lou, I do love you. She longed for her to say it again. One night, Koala Lou had a splendid idea. Preparations had begun for the Bush Olympics. She would enter the Olympics. She would compete in the gum tree climbing event and she would win. And her mother would fling her arms around her neck and say again, Koala Lou, I do love you. Koala Lou began her training right away. She jogged and puffed and lifted weights and panted. She hung from a branch with one claw at a time till she ached. She did push-ups till her stomach hurt. And last of all, she climbed the tallest tree that she could find over and over and over again. Sometimes her mother would watch her and ask, How you doing, Blossom? Fine, just fine, Koala Lou would reply. At last, the day of the Bush Olympics arrived. Oh, this makes me think. I have been in sports before and in races and different things, and I know what it's like to practice and practice, and then all of a sudden, game day comes. Now, I know in my class, I have a lot of boys and girls who play football and basketball and are cheerleaders and in dance, and I'm sure in some other classes, there's the same thing. So think about what that feels like when you practice, and all of a sudden, it's time for your big game or your performance. You know, I feel a little nervous when that happens or a little scared. What's going to happen? I bet that's how Koala Lou is feeling. So we're going to stop right here with the book, but don't worry. If you want to read more of this book, it's going to be available as one of the brain breaks today. But what I want you to think is how we were able to make connections to how Koala Lou was feeling. So Koala Lou, she felt warm inside because we know what that feels like when someone tells us they love us. And we also know that she felt maybe worried or scared when it was time for game day because she really wanted to win. And we also saw how it felt when she had a new brother or sister come in. Some of us know what that feels like and how we might feel left out. So it's really important when we're reading to think about things that we know, to make connections, to remember a time when we felt that way so we know how that character is feeling. So again, if you want to read the rest of this book, it's going to be available as one of your brain breaks today, so you can go and listen to the rest of the story. Enjoy your weekend. Do some fun things. Get outside. It's supposed to be really nice. And I will see you guys on Monday. See you later.